1972, there was a scandal that's mostly known as the Watergate scandal. There was a security guard in the Watergate building in Washington, D.C. Named Frank Wills, who discovered a door in the basement that had tape on the door to stop it from closing fully. He took the tape off and continued his rounds. And when he came back, he found another piece of tape covering the door again. So he decided to call the police. This is where 4 burglars were found fixing wiretaps and digging into files, into government files. By the end of the speech, I hope you have more information about the Watergate scandal and why it has such a big impact on American society and its relationship with the government. First, I will give some background information on what Watergate was and then how the outcome affected the government's relationship with the American people, and finally, I will talk about how it relates to us and this Watergate scandal happened in the middle of the presidential elections in which President Richard Nixon was running again for office. And at first, when the burglars were found, there was no connection between them and Nixon. So he gave a speech saying that that the White House had no connection to this incident. And so the American voters at that time believed him, so he won the presidential position again. And according to the Ford Library and Museum and its files on Watergate, after the election was won by Nixon, he tried to cover up this scandal by paying hush money to the burglars that were caught in this incident to hush them up about why they were there and who ordered them there. And he also planned for the CIA to impede the FBI's investigation on the Watergate scandal, and which was a much bigger crime at the time because he was misusing his power to impede something that could affect the government in such a big manner. But then all this changed when someone from the White House and who knew that Nixon recorded every single conversation that happened in the Oval Office. So when he was put on trial for this investigation, he was asked to give up the tapes, but he refused. And this caused much more tension between the case and Nixon. And so when he refused to give up the tapes after much coercion, he didn't want to give them up, so he was put on trial for impeachment. But before his verdict was given out, new president-elect Gerald Ford, he pardoned Nixon of whatever he had done, because at that time the Vietnam War was going on, or the Cold War, and he needed the government and the people's attention on what was going on over there. So now that you have some background information on the Watergate scandal, I'll move on to how it affected the relationship with the American people. when the House committee drafted 3 articles of impeachment against Nixon, one saying obstructing the Watergate investigation, misuse of power and violating the oath of office, and failure to comply with the House subpoenas or orders. And when this came to light, the American people were losing their trust on the government because of all the corruption and deceivement that the government had put up for the people.